Howdy, members. This is your President Shay Lohman coming to you all here at the beginning of February. It is hard to believe that we already find ourselves in the month of February. It has been a very active winter for public education here in the Los Angeles area. We want to take a few minutes today to go over our February newsletter with you all. And it's in our email blast. There's a link to it in the video as well, and we'll be getting hard copies out to people here in the coming days. Just taking you through at the front of our February newsletter, you will see that we definitely focus on the strike that took place in Los Angeles. The UTLA strike, with over 30,000 members who walked the picket lines, was one of the more historic labor actions that we've really ever seen. LA teachers really went on strike for something revolutionary that was more than just salary. They really went on strike over things like mental health support in their classrooms, counselors, librarians, but also about charter schools and stopping the rampant growth of charter schools in the Los Angeles area. This really is a movement that is growing. We're seeing this take place up in Oakland now. Oakland teachers are going to be announcing a strike authorization vote that they took in the coming days. And as we begin bargaining in many local districts throughout the San Gabriel Valley, this movement towards better funding public schools and providing the support that we need in our classrooms is definitely growing. So there's a great article in our newsletter. It's titled LA Teachers Strike May Be at the cutting edge of a revolution against what's rotten in America. And the LA teachers are at the forefront of that. So if you keep going through our newsletter, you'll see a couple pages that are dedicated to the strike in LA. Congratulations to our fellow educators there for just a great accomplishment. If you keep going through, you'll notice that we have our own bargaining dates that are up there. Our bargaining team began bargaining January 31st for our successor agreement. Our full contract is up for renewal at the end of this school year. So we have began the process for that. You'll see that we have bargaining dates scheduled through this school year, but just to be quite honest, I do think this is going to be a bargaining cycle that will take us into the fall and possibly even the winter of this year. So pay attention to our bargaining dates, and please wear your red on the days that you can to support our bargaining team. Continuing on, we did put a section in our newsletter here about IEPs, and a lot of questions have come up with in terms of special education, and so there's a little tip that CTA has provided with IEP best practices. One of the things to keep in mind is there is a way to dissent, to disagree as part of an IEP, and if you disagree with it, we recommend that you still maybe want to sign the form that you were there in attendance, but also make sure that your concerns are documented as part of that form. And then scheduling a meeting with your supervisor to talk about maybe some of the concerns you have with the decisions of the IEP team. So there is that information in there that talks about some of the best practices. You'll see in our contract corner for February that we have included the part on the voluntary transfer request deadline. At the end of February is the deadline. The last working day in February is the deadline to put in a transfer request for the 2019-2020 school year. So anybody considering looking at a new work location for next year, you have to get that form completed and returned to HR before the end of February. So we put those procedures in the newsletter as well. Continuing on, one of our constant issues has been our focus on lobbying around student discipline. So in December, it was December 10th of this year, four of us went up to Sacramento to lobby legislatures on the impact of some of the suspension law changes and how those changes have had an impact on our ability to maintain effective learning environments. So we really do need support from Sacramento on these suspension laws, and also really putting some state requirements in for counselor ratios and mandated counselor ratios that school districts have to adhere to, are some of the things that we're looking at for support from Sacramento. And as we've been putting in various newsletters, we did put the language for Ed Code 48910, which does explain how educators can suspend students for their classroom for that day and the next day. So that's in there as well. We are going to do another STIRS retirement seminar. That's going to be coming up here on March 18th over at Marie Callender's. We had one in the fall, but we sold out. It was at capacity. So we will be hosting another one of these on March 18th. That's from 4 o'clock to 5:30. We'll provide a meal and some information about how STIRS impacts you. So space is limited. So please call and get your name on that RSVP list as soon as possible. And then finally on the back, as always, you'll see that we do have our member benefits of the month. This one we decided to put on as California Casualty. California Casualty is an endorsed insurance provider for both auto and home, and they are doing like an Amazon $25 Amazon gift card if you are if you call them to get a quote. So again, encourage everybody to read our newsletters in detail, pay attention to what's going on, pay attention to bargaining updates are going to be coming out here in the coming weeks, and just be engaged. This is your union. So I want to wish everybody a fantastic February, and look forward to seeing you all out there teaching and doing the great work that you do. Take care.